I did something this week that I have never done on this channel before. I went to ChatGPT, the most powerful artificial intelligence system in the world, and I gave it every single piece of data about XRP that exists right now. The Goldman Sachs investment, the MasterCard partnership, the DTCC integration, the war with Iran, the Federal Reserve situation, the ETF inflows, the wallet numbers, everything. And then I asked it one simple question. What will XRP be worth on December 31st, 2026? And the answer genuinely shocked me. Not because it was outrageously high, not because it was devastatingly low, but because of the specific reasoning ChatGPT used to arrive at its answer. Because it identified something about XRP that most holders are completely ignoring right now. Something that will determine whether XRP goes to $3 or crashes back to below $1. And in this video, I am going to share every single word of what ChatGPT said, the exact price targets, the exact probabilities, the exact conditions. And the one thing ChatGPT said is the single most important factor for XRP's future that almost nobody in the community is talking about. Stay with me, because this is the most important 12 minutes of information you will hear about XRP this week. Before I show you ChatGPT's answer, let me tell you exactly what I gave it. Because the quality of an AI answer depends completely on the quality of the information you provide. I did not just ask ChatGPT what it thinks about XRP. I gave it a complete briefing. I told it that Goldman Sachs officially holds $154 million of XRP ETFs. I told it that MasterCard officially partnered with Ripple, connecting it to over 100 million merchants. I told it about the DTCC integration. I told it that 83 institutions now hold XRP ETF exposure totaling $1.44 billion. I told it that XRP just flipped BNB to become the fourth largest cryptocurrency in the world. I told it that the monthly RSI recently hit its most oversold level since the 2022 bottom. I told it about the US-Iran conflict and its effect on dollar devaluation. I told it about the Federal Reserve situation. And I told it that XRP is currently trading at $1.50, down 62% from its all-time high of $3.65. I gave it everything, the full picture, the good and the bad. And then I said, given all of this information, what is your honest price prediction for XRP on December 31st, 2026? Give me specific numbers with specific probabilities. Here is exactly what ChatGPT said. Step 1. ChatGPT's 3 price scenarios. ChatGPT did not give me one number. It gave me 3, and it gave each one a specific probability. This is important, because anyone who gives you one specific price target for any asset is not being honest with you. Markets have multiple possible outcomes. ChatGPT understood that and responded accordingly. Scenario 1. The most likely outcome. ChatGPT said the most likely price for XRP on December 31st, 2026 is $2.15. It assigned this scenario a 50% probability. This means ChatGPT believes there is a 1 in 2 chance that XRP ends the year at $2.15. From today's price of $1.50, that would represent a 43% gain by year-end. Scenario 2. The bullish outcome. ChatGPT said the bullish target for XRP is $3.35 by December 31st, 2026. It assigned this scenario a 25% probability, a 1 in 4 chance. From today's price, that would represent a 123% gain, more than doubling your money by year-end. Scenario 3. The bearish outcome. ChatGPT said the bearish target is 95 cents, also with a 25% probability, a 1 in 4 chance that XRP falls back below $1 by year-end. So to summarize ChatGPT's 3 scenarios, 50% chance of $2.15, 25% chance of $3.35, 25% chance of 95 cents. Now here is where it gets really interesting, because I did not just accept these numbers. I pushed back. I asked ChatGPT to explain exactly what needs to happen for each scenario to play out. And this is where the shocking part begins. Step 2. What needs to happen for XRP to reach $3.35? ChatGPT identified 4 specific conditions that all need to be true for XRP to reach its bullish target of $3.35 by December 31st, 2026. Condition 1. Crypto market sentiment needs to fully recover. Right now, the entire crypto market is still recovering from the bear market conditions of early 2026. Bitcoin is still down significantly from its all-time high. Ethereum is struggling. The overall market mood is cautious. ChatGPT said that for XRP to reach $3.35, the broader crypto market needs to enter a full bull market mood. Not just XRP recovering alone, the entire market rising together. Condition 2. XRP ETF flows need to broaden beyond early buyers. Right now, 83 institutions hold XRP ETF exposure. That sounds like a lot. But ChatGPT pointed out that in the context of the entire institutional investment world, 83 institutions is just the beginning. There are thousands of pension funds, family offices, hedge funds, and wealth management firms that could potentially buy XRP ETFs, but have not yet. For the bullish scenario to play out, the pool of institutional buyers needs to expand dramatically beyond the current 83. Condition 3. The Federal Reserve needs to move toward cutting rates in the second half of 2026. ChatGPT was very specific about this. Not just one cut, a clear signal that multiple cuts are coming. When rates fall, money moves from safe assets into risky assets. And that wave of money moving into risky assets is what drives the kind of price appreciation that takes XRP from $1.50 to $3.35. Condition 4. Ripple needs to convert its partnerships into actual XRP transaction volume. This is the condition that shocked me the most. And I am going to spend significant time on this because it is the most important thing ChatGPT said in the entire conversation. Step 3. The one thing ChatGPT said that shocked me most. When I asked ChatGPT what it considers the single most important factor for XRP's price by end of 2026, it did not say the federal. It did not say institutional buying. It did not say the war. It did not say the technical chart breakout. It said this. The single most important factor for XRP is whether Ripple's corporate growth starts driving actual demand for the XRP token itself, and not just demand for Ripple's enterprise products. Let me explain what that means. Because this is the heart of everything. Ripple, the company, has been extraordinarily successful recently. It is valued at $50 billion. It just completed a $750 million share buyback. It has partnerships with MasterCard. It has integration with the DTCC. It has a product called Ripple Payments that is used by banks and financial institutions to move money internationally. But here is the critical question that ChatGPT raised. When banks use Ripple Payments to move money, do they actually need to use XRP to do it? Or can they use Ripple's technology without touching XRP at all? The answer right now is complicated. Ripple has a product called On-Demand Liquidity, which uses XRP as a bridge currency for cross-border payments. When banks use on-demand liquidity, they buy XRP, use it to transfer value across borders instantly, and the recipient converts it back to their local currency. This creates real demand for XRP tokens. But Ripple also has products that do not use XRP at all. Banks can use Ripple's messaging and settlement technology without ever touching the XRP token. And ChatGPT identified this as the critical fork in the road for XRP's price. If Ripple's growth translates into more banks using on-demand liquidity and more XRP being used as a bridge currency, demand for XRP tokens increases. Supply gets absorbed. Price goes up. If Ripple's growth translates into banks using non-XRP products, Ripple the company gets richer, but XRP holders see no benefit. The token price stagnates or falls. ChatGPT said this distinction is more important for XRP's price than any other single factor. More important than the federal. More important than the war. More important than Goldman Sachs. Because all the institutional adoption in the world means nothing if the actual usage of XRP tokens is not growing alongside it. And here's why that shocked me. Because in all the excitement about Goldman Sachs and MasterCard and DTCC, almost nobody in the XRP community is asking this question. Almost nobody is tracking whether actual XRP token usage is growing alongside Ripple's corporate success. Almost nobody is watching the on-demand liquidity data. Almost nobody is asking whether Ripple's partnerships are generating real XRP demand or just Ripple company revenue. ChatGPT identified this as the most important question, and it is a question that almost nobody is answering clearly. Step 4. What needs to happen for XRP to crash to 95 cents? Now let me show you the bearish scenario. Because intellectual honesty requires us to look at this clearly, ChatGPT identified 3 conditions that would push XRP back to 95 cents by year-end. First, a significant global financial crisis triggered by the war escalating beyond current expectations. If the US-Iran conflict spreads to involve other major powers, if oil supply is severely disrupted, if global financial markets enter a full panic, all assets, including XRP, will sell off hard. And XRP could fall to 95 cents or lower in a genuine panic scenario. Second, the Federal Reserve maintaining high rates for longer than the market expects. If the Fed does not cut rates in 2026 at all, the dollar remains attractive. Institutional money stays in safe assets. The flood of new capital that XRP needs to push higher never arrives, and the price drifts back down. Third, and this is the most XRP-specific bearish condition, if it becomes clear that Ripple's corporate growth is not generating real XRP token demand, the community loses confidence. Long-term holders who have been waiting patiently for the fundamental thesis to play out start selling. New buyers who discover the thesis is not working do not step in, and the price erodes slowly and painfully back toward $1 and below. ChatGPT was clear that this bearish scenario has a genuine 25% probability. 1 in 4. It is not the most likely outcome, but it is real. And anyone who tells you it cannot happen is not being honest with you. Step 5. The fresh data that came out today that changes the calculation. Now here is something very important that ChatGPT did not have when I ran this analysis. Because this data just came out today, March 19th, 2026. XRP holders just broke a 13-year record. The XRP network has surpassed 7.7 million non-empty wallets. 7.7 million. That is the highest number of active XRP wallets in the entire 13-year history of the XRP ledger. Think about what that means. More individual people are holding XRP right now than at any point in history. More than during the 2017 bull run. More than during the 2021 bull run. More than at any previous peak. And in South Korea, one of the most important crypto markets in Asia, XRP trading volume skyrocketed over 115% in the last 24 hours as investors pivoted away from stocks toward XRP. 115% volume surge in South Korea. In one day? If I had given ChatGPT this data when I ran my analysis, I believe its 50% probability scenario of $2.15 would have moved higher. Because 7.7 million active wallets and a 115% volume surge in one of the world's biggest crypto markets are not bearish signals. They are the exact opposite. Step 6. My honest conclusion and what I think you should do with this information. Let me pull everything together now. ChatGPT's analysis, the fresh data from today, and my own honest assessment. Here is what I believe based on everything available right now. ChatGPT's most likely scenario of $2.15 by December 31st, 2026 is reasonable and supported by the evidence. It is not a fantasy number. It is not a disappointment number. It is a number that reflects genuine institutional adoption, genuine regulatory progress, and genuine fundamental development, combined with the realistic headwinds of a difficult macro environment and the unresolved question about XRP token demand versus Ripple corporate revenue. The bullish scenario of $3.35 is possible. ChatGPT gave it a 25% chance. I think that probability might actually be slightly higher now given today's wallet record and South Korea volume data. But it requires all 4 conditions to align. That is a lot of things going right simultaneously. The bearish scenario of 95 cents is the one I want you to take seriously even though it is uncomfortable. 25% means 1 in 4. If you are holding XRP right now and you are not prepared for the possibility of 95 cents, you need to reassess your position sizing. Not because I think it will happen, but because the market does not care what we think. And the single most important thing to watch, the thing ChatGPT identified that almost nobody is talking about, is whether Ripple's corporate success is generating real XRP token demand through on-demand liquidity. Watch that metric. If the answer is yes, the bullish scenario becomes significantly more likely. If the answer is no, the bearish scenario demands more respect. Now I want to hear from you. Which of ChatGPT's 3 scenarios do you believe will play out by December 31st, 2026? Type 2 if you think XRP reaches $2.15. Type 3 if you think XRP reaches $3.35. Type below 1 if you think the bearish scenario plays out and XRP falls back to 95 cents. Drop your answer in the comments right now. I am going to pin the most interesting comment on this video, and I will reply to every single answer in the first hour after this goes live. If this video gave you a new way of thinking about XRP, one that goes beyond just watching the price every day, please subscribe. Because this channel is committed to giving you the real analysis, the uncomfortable questions, the honest answers, not just the content that makes you feel good. My next video is going to take this analysis even further. There is a massive and growing debate inside the XRP community about whether Ripple is secretly working against XRP token holders while making itself richer. The evidence on both sides is genuinely shocking, and I am going to cover every side of it honestly and completely. Subscribe so you do not miss it. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.